Friends, now we are going to study about the next one point in this chapter, that is structure of the antibody. In the last lecture we studied about the different types of the immunity. Okay, in case of the immunity we studied about the two types of immunity. First one type is innate immunity and second one type is acquired immunity. Okay, this innate immunity, it works at the levels of barriers, and acquired immunity, it is divided into two types. That is, first one is the active immunity and second one is the passive immunity. This active immunity, it is again divided into two types, that is natural and artificial. And here also passive immunity is again divided into two types, that is natural and also second one is the artificial. Okay. Now when we studied about the concept of the immunity, in this there are two words we observe. The first word is the antigen and second one word is the antibody. Okay. In case of these two terms, these antigens, these are non-self components, that is these are the foreign substances and these are released due to the entry of pathogen. Means when pathogen enters in our body, these pathogen, due to which the antigenic stimulus is developed, and these antigenic stimulus responsible for the production of antibodies, and these antibodies are the self molecules. Okay, these are the self molecules of the human body. Okay, now here these two concepts we clear about this. Antibody is self molecule of human body and these antigens are the non self component of the human body. Now we are going to study about the structure of antibody. Means what is mean by the antibodies. Okay, in case of the antibodies, when we studied about the structure of the antibody, first thing you have to clear that these antibodies, these are the, see, these antibodies, these are the glycoprotein molecules. What is antibodies? These are glycoprotein molecules, and these antibodies, these are also called as immunoglobulins. What it called as? Immunoglobulins, or short form is written as IgS. What is mean by immunoglobulins? These are the glycoprotein molecules. Okay. Now these antibodies, these are produced in response to the antigenic stimulus. Means when antigen it produced in our body, then there is production of the antibodies. Hence the production of antibodies, it is due to the antigenic stimulus. Okay. Now these antibodies, these are produced in plasma cells. These plasma cells, they produce nearly about 2000 molecules per second. Okay, means our plasma cells produce 2000 molecules of immunoglobulins or antibodies per second in our human body. Okay, now when you studied about the structure of antibody, first thing is very important that in case of the antibody, there are 4 polypeptide chains. Okay, what is present? 4 polypeptide chain, and these molecule, it is Y-shaped. What is its shape? Its shape is Y-shaped, and these 4 polypeptide chains, from which 2 chains are heavy chains and 2 chains are the light chains. Okay, see here, 2 heavy chains and 2 light chains. These are also called as H chain and these are also called as L chain. Okay, H chain and the L chain. Now these four chains, these are connected with each other with the help of disulfide bond. By which technique? By the disulfide bonds. These four polypeptide chains connected with each other. Okay. Now, in case of these four polypeptide chains, two heavy chains, that is two H chains, and two chains are the light chains. These are connected with each other with the help of disulfide bond. Okay. Now, if you observe this antibody structure, see, this is first chain, that is here such type of chain, Y-shaped. Okay, these two are the H chains. Which chains? H chains. Okay, and on the outer side of this H chain, these two chains are present. These chains, these are called as L chain. What it called as? These are called as L chains. Okay, as like this. Okay, or these chains, see here, these are the similar. In case of this, we can write here as like this. Okay, these are the chains. Here, these are L chains. Okay, and these chains connect with each other with the help of disulfide bond. Which bonds? Disulfide bond. Now, the part of the chain, the upper one part, it is called as arm. Lower one part, it is called as stem. What it called as? Stem. Okay. And both these are connected with each other with the help of the hinge. Means arm of the antibody and stem of the antibody, these are connected with this structure. This is called as hinge. Okay. Now, in case of the antibodies, these chains, they consist of the two regions. Okay. See, the upper one regions on both chains, these are called as variable region. Okay, see, these are the variable regions. Okay, and this lower one region, it is called as constant region. What it called as? Constant region. Means in this structure, the next point is that third one point, that is arm and stem. These are connected with each other with the help of the hinge. Okay, and each chain, either it is heavy chain or either it is light chain, they consist of two regions. The upper one region is the variable chain and lower one region is the not chain, it is variable region, and second one is the constant region. Okay, means on the structure of antibody, two regions are present. Uppermost region is variable region and lowermost region is the constant region. Now this variable region, it is having antigen binding sites. See, on this antibody, here is the presence of antigen binding site. As like if you observe here, these are the sites or the places where these antigens bind. Now on both these antibodies, totally two antigen binding sites are present. How many sites? Two antigen binding sites are present. Hence, the antibody molecule is called as bivalent. Why? Because antigen binding sites, these are 2. Hence, antibody molecules are called as bivalents. What it called as? Bivalents. Now, this antigen binding site means what? At this place, the antigen binds for destroying. First, this antigen bind at that site. This site is called as antigen binding site. Okay. Now, in case of this antibody, the first in the structure we have studied, that is antibodies are called as immunoglobulins. These are actually the glycoprotein molecules. Okay. And plasma cells produce 2000 molecules per second in the blood due to the antigenic stimulus. Antigenic stimulus means what? Antigenic stimulus, that is entry of pathogen. What is this? It is the entry of pathogen. Now, this antibody molecule, it consists of 4 polypeptide chains. 2 chains are heavy chains called as H chain. 2 chains are light chains called as L chain. Okay. And these 4 chains held together with the help of disulfide bond, labeled as like this. It is disulfide bond. Okay. The upper part of antibody is called as arm. Lower part of antibody is called as stem. And both these are connected with the help of hinge. This structure is called as hinge, due to which antibodies join with each other. Okay. Now, each chain consists of 2 regions. First one region is variable region. Second one region is the constant region. And this variable region, it consists of antigen binding sites. Okay. Hence, there are 2 antigenic binding sites are present. Hence, the antibody molecules are called as bivalent molecules. Okay. Now, what happens? This antibody, it binds with the antigen. To which? Antigen. When inside our body there is entry of pathogen, this pathogen, it releases the antigen. Now this antigen, it is bind with the antibody. Okay. Means antibody attacks on the antigen and there is formation of antigen antibody complex. What is the formation? Antigen and antibody complex. Okay. Now, the branch of immunology, okay, which is called as serology. What it called as? Serology. Okay. The branch of biology or branch of immunology, which is called as serology. This serology, it deals with the study of antigen and antibody. To which? Antigen and antibody. Okay. Now, in case of this, we completed the structure of antibody. The next one point is that this branch of biology or immunology, which is called as serology, this serology, it deals with the study of antigen and antibody complex. Okay. Now, here there is formation of antigen antibody complex. Okay. Now, what is this? The first one point is that is antibodies. Okay. These are Y-shaped molecules. These are present in your body. These are Y-shaped molecules. Okay. As like this. When antigen present in our body, suppose this is antigens. Okay. These antigen and antibody collectively form antigen antibody complex. What is the formation? There is formation of the antigen antibody complex. Means these antigens, these are bind with the antibody. Now these antigens bind at the antibody. The site is called as antigen binding site. See, there are two sites. First one is site is called as epitope. What is called as epitope? Okay, it is the antigenic determinant. Means the site of the antigen which binds with the antibody, and the site present on the antibody, it is called as paratope. What is this? It is antibody site where parasite get arrested. Okay. Now these two terms are very important, that is epitope and paratope, because this antigen, suppose this is antigen, this site of the antigen, it is called as epitope. Okay, and it binds with the site of antibody. This site is called as paratope. Okay, and after the binding, this structure, it is called as antigen antibody complex. And this antigen antibody complex, it is destroyed with the help of different mechanism. First one is the agglutination. First one, agglutination. Sometimes it is by opsonization, and sometimes by the mechanism of the neutralization. Okay, these are the certain ways to destroy the antigen. Okay, means antigen is destroyed by these three methods, and before destroying, previously there is formation of the antigen antibody complex. Okay, now up to this we studied that this antigen, we know that one thing we always remind it, antigen is the non-self molecules. Okay, always we studied this. But remember, there are certain antigens also present on the blood cells. Okay, hence we are going to study about the next one point, that is whatever the antigens, see, antigens on blood cells. Okay, means two type of the antigens in our blood. RBCs are present. Okay, these RBC on the surface of two types of antigens are present, that is antigen A and B, and also one of the antigen is discovered, that is D antigen. Okay, in case of this study of the antigen, the system of blood group, it is investigated by Karl Landsteiner. Okay, Karl Landsteiner in 19, they discovered the ABO blood group system. Okay, which system is discovered? ABO blood group system. According to this ABO blood group system, in case of the human being, there are 4 blood groups, that is blood group A, B and the O. These are the 4 blood groups we observe in case of the human. Okay, this blood group system is called as ABO blood group system. Different blood groups are present, or different blood group systems are present in case of the human being. These are present. from which ABO blood group system is universally accepted. Okay. Now, if you observe these blood groups, okay, see the first column we make it as blood group, second one antigen, second antibody. Now in case of this, A blood group, B blood group and antibody. See this blood group A, second one blood group is B, third one blood group is AB and fourth blood group is the O. Okay. In case of the A blood group, antigen A is present. In case of B blood group, B antigen is present. In case of the AB blood group, both antigens are present. In case of O, there is no antigen. Okay. Now in case of this, the antigens are present on the surface of RBCs. Okay. On the surface of RBCs, these antigens are present and antibodies are present. In case of blood group A, the B antibodies are present. Here A antibodies are present. In case of AB, there is no blood groups, no antibodies. And in case of O, both antibodies are present. Okay. Now remember one thing is that there is presence of the blood group A, B, AB and O. These are depending upon the presence of the antigens. In case of the blood group A, the antigen is present A. In case of blood group B, B antigen is present. In case of blood group AB, both antigens are present. In case of blood group O, no any antigen. In case of blood group A, antibodies are B. In case of B, antibodies are A. In case of AB, no antibodies. In case of O, AB antibodies are present. Now in case of these, there are genotypes are written. Okay. In case of genotypes, a person having blood group A, the genotype is IA, or it is IA-I0. Okay. The person having blood group B, it is having IB, or IB-I0. In case of AB person, the genotype is IA-IB. In case of O, genotype is written as IO. Okay. These are the genotypes present in case of the antigens, antibody and the specific blood groups. Okay. Now what happens if you observe these four blood groups? Okay. We are very well known to that. In case of blood transfusion, certain type of blood groups patients can give blood to the certain type of blood groups and some can receive the blood groups. Now this blood group donation in which the one is acceptor, okay, that is blood receiver, and other is the donor. Okay. Now donor means the blood group O person. It is very important because these persons can give blood to 4 blood groups. That is, these 4 blood group persons can take blood of the O. Hence O is called as universal donor. What it called as? Universal donor. And in case of acceptor, the universal blood group accept the blood group's universal donor, that is O blood group. This O blood group is called as universal donor. Okay. Why? Because O can donate blood to A person, can donate blood to the B person, also donate blood to AB, and also donate blood to the O. That is, O blood group person, it gives blood or can donate blood to the all persons having blood group A, B, AB and O. Hence it is called as universal donor. Okay. The blood group AB, it is called as universal acceptor, because blood group AB person can accept the blood of A, can accept blood of B, it can accept blood of AB person, and also it can accept the blood of O. Okay. Hence the blood group O, it is called as universal donor, and blood group AB, it is called as universal acceptor. Okay. Now this blood transfusion can easily be recognized by this chart. These blood group person A, B and O, these are the acceptors. Here these blood groups pair persons are the donor. Now the person having blood group A can donate blood to A but not to B, but can donate blood to AB, not to O. Then B blood group person cannot donate blood to A. This B blood group person can donate blood to the B, also to AB, but not to the O person. The third one, blood group patient AB, this is cannot donate blood to A, cannot donate to B, but it can donate to AB, not to O. The person O blood group can donate blood to A, B, AB and O. Hence, we can observe here this AB accept bloods of 4 of the blood groups, hence it is universal acceptor, and the blood group O donate blood to all, hence it is universal donor. Now in this chart, the person having blood group A can donate blood to A and AB. This is A and AB. Then B person donate blood to B and AB. The blood group person AB can donate blood to only AB, but the O person, it can donate blood to A, AB and O blood group person. Now second one can accept, that is A blood group person accept the blood of A and O. The B blood group person can accept the blood of B and O. The person AB can accept blood of A, B, AB and O, because it is universal acceptor, and O can accept only the blood of O person. Okay. Now remember, all of you note down these two tables. This is first one table and this is second one table in your notebook to clarify the which are the blood groups, which are the antigens, which are the antibodies, what are their genotypes, and to which persons can donate or from which person can accept the blood. Okay, you have to remember the blood groups, that is with the help of the these two charts, and these two charts will help you in solving the every questions, that is in case of the blood. Now we are going to study the next one type in case of the diseases which is related with this blood group system or incompatibility of the blood, and that disease is known as erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay. The next one point, that is a disease which is called as HDN, or it is also known as hemolytic disease of newborn, or it is also having another name, that is erythroblastosis fetalis. In case of this disease, first you have to know about the meaning of these diseases. The erythro means these are RBCs, or another name of RBCs is erythrocytes. sites. Okay, and blastocyst means it is lysis or it is breakdown, and this condition it occurs in case of the fetus, that is newly born child. The word hemolytic also having same meaning. Hemolysis, that is RBCs of the blood, and lysis means it is the breakdown. Okay. Now this disease it is occurred in case of the Rh negative mothers. Remember this point. Erythroblastosis fetalis, it is resulted in case of Rh negative mother. Now suppose father it is of any blood group, either A, B, AB or O, but it is positive, and if mother it is any blood group but it is negative. In case of Rh positive father and Rh negative mother, when they conceive the first child, this first child is of positive blood group. Now this child is safe. Okay. In first pregnancy there is no any danger to their first child, it is safe. Okay. But at that time what happened? This positive fetus, okay, from the fetal circulation in the body of the mother, actually mother is negative. Okay. Some of the positive bodies enters into the mother circulation. Hence, in the blood of mother, there is anti-Rh antibodies develops. Okay. This first child is safe. There is no any harm. But in subsequent condition, in case of second child, if this second child is positive, see, this is fetus or second child is positive, this mother is having positive and negative antibodies, and here is the result of immunoresponse, and this immunoresponse it is due to anti-Rh antibodies, and due to these anti-Rh antibodies there is anemia takes place, and this anemia is severe or this is hemolytic, that is there is breakdown of the RBC, and such condition it is fetus or it is fetal, that is the death of the second child it may takes place. Okay. Now in case of this, the rate of this erythroblastosis fetalis is more, but in the development of the medical sciences, what happened in case of the second child or in case of second pregnancy, this mother it is injected with the anti-Rh antibody injection. Okay. Now this injection is given to the mother during the second child, and which prevents this immune response, and this second child is safe. Okay. This is called as erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay. See again, this erythroblastosis fetalis disease, it is also called as HDN, that is hemolytic disease of the newborn. Hemolysis means there is breakdown of the RBC, lysis that is breakdown, and this takes place in case of the fetus. This most probably occur in case of the Rh negative mothers. When mothers are Rh negative and father is Rh positive, in case of the first child, this baby is positive, which is safe, but at the time of pregnancy there is circulation, maternal and fetal circulation, it is mixes, and some positive antibodies goes in the mother's blood. Due to this positive antibody, body recognizes as the antigen, and there is formation of the anti-Rh antibodies, okay, in the mother's blood. The first child is safe, but in case of second child, if child is positive, there is a strong immunoresponse, and this strong immunoresponse, it results into the hemolytic anemia, or it results into the severe anemia, and this is very fatal to the second child, and the death of second child may occur. But today it is a second child pregnancy, it is also protected by the injection of anti-Rh antibody during the second pregnancy. This injection is given to the mother at the time of second gestation, and it will be protect the child, and the rate of HDN or hemolytic diseases of newborn, it becomes less. Okay. Now students must note their chart for the better understanding of the erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay. Now in case of this human health and diseases, in your textbook certain diseases are involved. Okay. In case of the diseases, few common diseases are involved. Before that, we have to know about the what is meant by disease. Okay. We came to this term, that is disease. Okay. If we split this term, dis means uncomfort. Dis, that is absent or absence, and ease means comfort. When person is not comfortable, okay, this condition is called as dis-ease. Okay. Now when we define this disease, what is disease? See, the disease, it is a condition. What is disease? It is a condition. In this condition, there is dearrangement or degenerative or destructive function of one organ or many organs. Sometimes these organs or a system is also defunctions or dearranged. It is not degenerative, it is dearranged function. Dearrangement or dearranged function of one or more organ. Sometimes at a time 2 organs also involved, and also a system. Okay. Now in case of these conditions, what happens? This function, it is disturbed due to sometime infection, okay, due to sometime defective diets, or also sometime these causes are the hereditary causes. See, what is disease? Disease means it is a condition of dearranged function of one or more organs or a system. Okay, and this is due to the infection, defective diets, or the hereditary. For example, suppose there is infection of the bacteria Salmonella typhi. Okay, it results into the disease typhoid. Which disease? Typhoid. Sometime defective diet. Suppose there is iron deficient diet, means if our diet iron is less, it results into a disease. The disease is called as anemia. Okay. Third one is the hereditary. Okay. Some genetic disorders or chromosomal abnormalities, for example syndromes, okay, these syndromes, or sickle cell anemia disease, these are due to the genes, or these are due to the genetic defects. Due to lots of the reasons, such type of the dearrangement of the function of one or more organ takes place, and this condition is called as, all this condition it is called as disease. What is called as? It is called as disease. Okay. Now, in case of the human being, there are lots of diseases are present. Okay. Now, these diseases broadly classified into two different types. See the types of the diseases. First, these diseases are classified into two types. First one is the congenital and second one disease that is acquired. Okay. Two basic types of the diseases. First one congenital, second one acquired. Now what is the difference in between congenital and what is the meaning of the acquired disease? Okay. Now these congenital diseases, it is present from birth. Means during the embryonic development, these diseases present. And these acquired diseases, these are developed after the birth. Okay. These diseases are called as acquired diseases. Now in case of the congenital diseases, these congenital diseases are, first, these are incurable. This is most important point, that is congenital diseases are incurable by any treatment because these are permanent. Okay, these are developed or these are present from the birth. In case of this, certain therapies also used for the treatment. For example, gene therapy, sometime enzyme replacement therapy is also used. But these disorders or these diseases are congenital, incurable, or these are the permanent diseases. For example, we are very well known to that, that is congenital heart diseases. Which diseases? Congenital heart diseases. Any type of the defect involved, any type of the blood circulation or any defective structure related with the heart structure, it is present from the birth, and this is called as congenital heart diseases. Okay. Now the second one type is the acquired, and these acquired diseases, these are divided into two types. First one type is called as communicable diseases and second one type is called as non-communicable diseases. Okay. Now communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. In case of this, communicable diseases also called as infectious diseases. Okay. And these non-communicable diseases are called as non-infectious diseases. Okay. Infectious and non-infectious. Now what is the meaning of infectious diseases and non-infectious diseases? Okay. See, the infection of any disease, or if any disease, it is transmitted from infected person to the healthy person. Okay, this is called as communicable disease. It is communicable. Okay. For example, in case of communicable diseases, we know that malaria disease. This malaria, it is transmitted through a vector mosquito which is called as Anopheles mosquito. This is called as communicable. From infected person, it is transmitted to the healthy person. Okay. Now second one type is the non-communicable. Now what is meant by non-communicable? That is from infected person, the healthy persons not infected. Okay, means there is no transmission of the disease from infected to healthy person. These are called as non-communicable diseases. Okay. For example, in case of these non-communicable diseases, it is also called as the non-infectious diseases. If you observe the examples of the non-infectious disease, for example, the disease For example, this is related with the deficiency disorder. Suppose iron deficiency, it results into the anemia. Okay, it is non-communicable. Or sometime there is deficiency of the iodine, it results into the goiter. Or different types of the deficiency, that is nutritional disorders, it is limited to the only infected person. It is not transmitted to the healthy person. These are called as non-infectious diseases. Okay. Now, in case of these diseases, for example, these communicable diseases or non-communicable diseases, whatever the diseases are present, okay, always there is disease causing agents. Okay, these disease causing agents, these are called as pathogens. What it called as pathogens. Okay, what is mean by pathogens? Pathogens means disease causing agents. Okay, now in case of these non-communicable diseases, also the cancer. Okay, this cancer is also non-communicable or non-infectious disease. Remember one of this example. Okay, now we came to this point, that is disease caused by certain disease causing agents. These disease causing agents are called as pathogens. Now in case of the medical science, there is lots of diversity in case of the pathogens. These pathogens are viruses, then bacteria, then protozoa, certain elements, okay, and also some of the worms. These are called as the pathogens. See, the lots of variety of the pathogen is present, and these pathogens, here I rewrite again, pathogens, it may be viruses, it may be bacteria, it may be protozoa, it may be elements, or it may be different types of the worms. Okay. Now in case of pathogens, also certain insect acts as the vectors. It is also one of the important point in case of the diseases. That is, vector means disease spread or disease spreading to the other. Okay, these are mostly the mosquito. In case of the malaria disease, you are very well known to that, the female Anopheles mosquito, it is the vector. Also in case of the pathogens, parasites are also play important role. Okay, what is meant by parasite? Parasite, it is an organism which completely depend on the host for obtaining nutrition. Okay, and from this host it obtain the nutrition, hence it is called as parasite. Now these parasites are of two types. The first one type, that is endoparasites, and second one type is called as ectoparasite. Okay, endoparasites, they live inside the body of host, they live inside, and ectoparasites, they live outside the body. In case of the endoparasites, those live inside the body of host organism. For example, we are very well known to that, the Ascaris. Okay, and it results into the Ascariasis disease. These parasites live inside the intestine of the human, hence it is endoparasite. While bed bugs, okay, these bed bugs, they present always outside the human body, or louse also present. Okay, these are the ectoparasite, they suck their blood. Now in this way, in this chapter, you are very well known to that, the basic types of the diseases. The first one type of the disease is congenital, that is diseases present from birth. Second one type is acquired diseases, that is diseases developed after birth. Now these acquired diseases again divided into two types, that is communicable and non-communicable, also called as infectious and non-infectious. Okay. The disease causing agents are called as pathogens. Okay. Lots of variety of the pathogens. Now these pathogens, it may be viruses, it may be bacteria, it may be protozoa, it may be helminths, or it may be worm. The vectors play important role in case of the spreading of the diseases, that is mosquito. In case of the malaria disease, female anopheles mosquito is the vector. There are certain parasites also present, that is endoparasite and ectoparasites, and these parasites also responsible for the different types of the diseases, that is ascariasis, or in case of the bed bugs they suck the blood. Now in this chapter you have to deal with the different diseases, for example malaria, amoebiasis, then filariasis, pneumonia, common cold, ringworm, such type of diseases. In the next lecture we will study with related with their signs and symptoms, what are the causative agents, what is the modes of transmission, or how the treatment takes place, or how the prevention takes place. Okay, still that you have to concentrate on the types of diseases. Thank you.